It's the same thing in the same way all the time. Nothing changes, all these faces keeping their mind closed. Oh, it's the same.
In the global scramble for critical minerals, some of the world's highest stake negotiations occur far from major capitals, on the wind-scoured coastline of the Gulf of Aden, in a place called Sanaag. Sanaag is the ancestral home of the Warsangali Sultanate, its history stretching across centuries of independence and maritime power. The Sultanate resisted colonial rule, culminating in the exile of Sultan Mahmud Ali Shire by the British in 1920, and the destruction of a 600-year-old Somali state. In the decades after Somali independence, Sanaag was left in a state of profound neglect. Despite being the country's second largest province, it saw no paved roads, no meaningful investment, and no representation in the national development agenda. But in the formation of Puntland in the late 1990s, Sanaag's status shifted from forgotten margin to an embattled frontier. Worse than neglect, the rise of competing claims from Puntland and Somaliland entrenched Sanaag in a zone of dispute, prohibiting international aid agencies, infrastructure projects, and even humanitarian relief from reaching the region. Yet beneath the political volatility lies a geological prize. Recent surveys, cited by the World Bank and corroborated by academic geologists, confirm that Sanaag is home to substantial reserves of gold, copper, nickel, cobalt, iron, and manganese. The sands near its coasts contain titanium, rich ilmenite, and rutile, and the region's deep crust harbors lithium and platinum, metals that underpin everything from smartphones to energy grids and advanced weapons systems. Some prospecting reports estimate that 1,000 square kilometers in Sanaag could hold hundreds of tons of gold, millions of tons of copper and tin, and globally significant deposits of rare earths.
Beyond fishing, the coastline's strategic location offers immense geopolitical value. At the crossroads of major shipping routes linking Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, the country is home to valuable resources like gypsum, limestone, and coal, which are being exploited in limited quantities for local and regional markets. However, the true allure lies in untapped reserves of precious metals like gold, copper, and tantalum, as well as rare earth elements critical to modern technology. These minerals could attract mining giants and position the region as a supplier of critical materials to global industries. Growing global demand for rare earth elements, essential for everything from electric vehicles to wind turbines,
As these discoveries have become known, global and regional powers have moved with new urgency. The United Arab Emirates has invested heavily in Berbera port.
This move allows the Emirates to bypass Djibouti, which has long dominated regional trade, and establish a powerful new gateway to the Horn of Africa. Central to the project is a new trade corridor, stretching from Berbera deep into Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous country. By connecting landlocked Ethiopia to the sea, the UAE aims to capture a share of its vast market, boost regional commerce, and strengthen its own influence across East Africa. The UAE's approach complicates Somalia's already fragile quest for unity and stability, fueling debates and protests among divided communities. The stakes here extend far beyond commerce. They touch on questions of sovereignty, national identity, and the future direction of the Horn of Africa.
Expanding airstrips, and is suspected by Sudanese officials of installing radar systems intended to monitor one of the world's busiest shipping lanes. International Crisis Group analysts have warned that the militarization of this resource corridor is outpacing the ability of diplomats to broker lasting agreements. Local consequences have been severe. In February 2023, the neighboring Sol region erupted in conflict. Over 150,000 civilians were forced from their homes in the violence that followed. Against this landscape of violence, chronic underdevelopment, and political uncertainty, Rubhante elders invoked the Somali constitution in February 2023, declaring the SSC-Khatumo State. The constitution is clear. Any two or more regions may jointly form a federal member state. Sol, with interim recognition as SSC-Khatumo, formally merged with Sanaag in July 2025 and received full federal recognition, fulfilling both constitutional mandate and the aspirations of communities seeking local governance after decades of denial. On the geopolitical front, foreign actors began closing in. The UAE's investment in Berbera port and Yemeni-linked air bases ratcheted up regional concern. Sudan formally accused the UAE of covert destabilization across the Horn, a warning echoed in Crisis Group's 2024 assessment. Neither diplomacy nor oversight matches the pace of militarization. Then in early 2025, Somali media revealed a secret Nairobi meeting between Puntland and Somaliland leaders, brokered by UAE envoys. Their discussions focused on joint exploitation of Sanaag rare earth deposits, a geopolitical pivotal point, not only for Somalia, but for supply chains reaching far beyond the Horn of Africa. Simultaneously, Bloomberg and Semaphore confirmed that President Abdurrahman Mohamed Abdullahi, known as Irro, made multiple visits to Washington. He met with senior officials in the U.S. State Department and Department of Defense, offering lithium reserves access and even naval basing opportunities near Berbera in return for partial recognition of Somaliland. Domestically, Puntland President Saeed Abdullahi Deni faced mounting corruption allegations. Opposition documents accused him of purchasing a hospital benefiting his daughter and granting contracts to firms linked to his family. Analysts suggest his alignment with Somaliland and openness to UAE sponsorship were less about peace and more about resource control and political survival. As those diplomatic alignments solidified, Puntland shifted militarily. They began deploying forces towards Sanaag's Almado Mountains, a move coinciding with the Warsangali Sultanate Leadership Assembly in Las Anod. That assembly laid the foundation for Woy State, designating Las Anod as the capital and Las Ore as its secondary capital and trade hub. In direct response, the Puntland Maritime Police Force, backed by UAE, announced plans to build their second largest base in Las Ore, in effect surrounding the nascent Woy administration with military pressure. These acts parallel state building from below and foreign-backed military posturing from above, crystallized the emerging standoff. As Crisis Group and Chapman House have cautioned, resource extraction in the region is fast outpacing diplomatic and governance development. To some observers, these events mark a tragic return of colonial-style extraction, cloaked in modern alliances. To others, they signal a real opportunity. Woy State, balanced between 45 seats for Khatumo and 38 seats for Mahir, offer a model of local sovereignty resisting external manipulation. Today, as troops surround Las Ore and political authority shifts to Las Anod, Sanaag stands at the vortex of global resource competition. In the end, the struggle over Sanaag is more than territorial. It's about who defines sovereignty in a region where pipelines and ports now matter more than empires. The choices made today will shape Somalia's future and the integrity of global mineral markets for decades to come.